Hi, this is Country Black on my first day at this job, narrating for Jet Black, who just hired me a few days ago. I'm an old school brother from the backwoods and swamps of coastal Alabama, and I'm that kind of man that was born with a goatee, two wives, one ex-wife, a job, bills to pay, and warrants out for my arrest in other states. When I showed up for the interview, Jet Black was nothing like I expected. Here's the fuck thing about it. We're related. We just met, but we're related. I probably will regret admitting that later on, but his name is Jet Black, so I expected this dark-skinned, bald-headed man to show up and greet me and shake my hand and compliment me on how ethnic and country I am. Well, he did compliment me, and he was glad to meet me before we even knew we were related, but he doesn't look at all like his name. First, he's growing his hair back because his son is now married, so his gray hair would make him look old enough to be someone's father-in-law and teacher. The second biggest surprise is he's light-skinned, and yet he sounds like he does. He and I both sound pitch black, and I show am as ethnic as it gets, but he does not look at all like he sounds. The biggest surprise is that his red ass doesn't know he's red. I mean, he's about the same shade as the rapper pimp Sugar Free in the middle of the wintertime, but he thinks he's Usain Bolt. Someone please cash app this ninja some dollars for some self-tanning solution so he can stop lying so damn much. His wife is sick of it already. She showed up to drop off his lunch at the office and she asked where he was. When the receptionist asked which one was Jet, she lowered her voice and said, "He doesn't look like his name at all. He's light-skinned with the gray on his temples, but he thinks he's super dark and bald-headed." Does that sound familiar? The receptionist rolled her eyes so long she fell asleep in the middle of the conversation, and I had to come to the desk and say, "He just got through interviewing me, ma'am." I'll walk you back to his office if it's all right. Why a woman that fine and cute would live with a ninja like him is beyond me. In Alabama, we'd rob banks to get the money to spoil a woman like her. Hell, I'd commit a crime in Mississippi just to get conjugal visits with someone like her, but she chose a Malcolm X wannabe instead. Now, he sounds like he'd be a good match for her, but that's just his voice. Anyway, I guess I better quit roasting him before he finds out about this and fires me. My parole condition is that I keep a job, so I better keep this one. Jet Black don't know nothing about being on parole when you ain't even been convicted of anything, but you were born on probation and one suspended sentence. I began this recording to narrate what he wanted to tell you. Shacarri Richardson just went to the airport and showed her natural baboon tail on camera and went to the cops to tell them right off the bat that she wasn't any threat, but a TSA officer who saw her hit Coleman told the cops, and she was arrested because of that, independently of anything Coleman said to anyone at all, and she still wanted to blame Coleman for her arrest like he had snitched. He didn't snitch, though. She hit him in an airport with cameras and was snitched out to the cops by a TSA officer. She lied and said she never hit him, but she did. Then she asked if he could come and say she never hit him to prevent her arrest. Are you serious? As Dolomite used to say when the sheriff caught him smashing his wife, and the wife said he took the pussy by force, "Bitch, are you for real?" Gentlemen, this shows you guys that she feels that she owns Coleman and that black women in general own black men. What? I ain't been owned since emancipation. And even though I'm old enough to owe Jesus money, I was born after emancipation. So I ain't never been owned by anyone. I might have been born a wanted man, but I wasn't born in bondage, though. Who are these hyenas that think they can own us? Now, let me break away from what Jet Black told me to say and slide this on in the message like I slide a banana in my second wife's fruit basket. These women ain't never going to respect you if they can own you, and they ain't never going to stop trying to own you when they can't own you either. When I say these women, I mean these Western black women. I don't apologize for that either. I know. I sound like that old brother that's a church deacon and don't know nothing about no other women and everything about black women. I'm actually an ancient brother that ain't got no business in a church anymore, and I know about them Asian women from around Cambodia and them places. Got me a dark-skinned woman from that region, and she get to hollering at night in my ear, and it gets extra wet, and my bad, I got carried away. But the point is that even with a language barrier, I can learn her far better than I ever learned any black women except my own mama. Know why? Whatever she can't tell me, she shows me. Sisters just shut down when it's time to tell you what you need to know. Can't tell you much about white women because I grew up in Alabama and I was born long before the night riders disappeared. But the little I can tell you is that they'll communicate as long as ain't no one else listening in. Sisters always know someone else is listening in because she got to go back to her friends and report so they can tell her how to be as mean to you as they can imagine. Ain't no privacy. My second wife, don't tell our business. Razor, could you please pass me that tissue over there? Thank you. Yeah, I got to talking about her and forgot I was at work. I'll go home and change pants after I finish this recording. Never mind. I better not go home because she's there, and I'll miss the rest of this workday. I'll just change my pants after work. Thank you. I better get back to this recording. Guys, Shacarri is just an example that was caught on camera and is famous. Nothing more. She's not just one example of what to avoid in a woman. She's an example of why you have to avoid her whole demographic. Listen to her. Remember when she lost? How did she handle that? How coachable is she? More importantly, look at when she apologized and look at what lies she told the cops before that apology. She told the cops she could prove she was being abused and then told Coleman to come get her out of that arrest, even though the cops told her he wasn't the reason she was under arrest and he had no say in this. It wasn't about him pressing charges. She was under arrest without input from Coleman. He still tried to save her later on, and we heard his defense of her with his forgiving ass. She and he both are under the brainwashing and hypnosis of the jigaboo culture of gynocentrism and misandry. The truth is that the culture should be described with a new word, misandrocracy, because misandry is a ruling feature of it and a necessity in the culture for sisters to participate. Shacarri ain't an individual by herself. She's one who follows the hive mind of the misandrocracy, and that means that when it's not her on camera, it's Rihanna off camera, or it's countless other sistren who want to be those too when there are no cameras. Hitting black men and then demanding that we take it and tell police to uncuff them because we're black men and we deserve their abuse. Now, Jet Black limits his agreement with accountable commentary on YouTube, but I'm telling you that AC is right. You must stay Keisha free, because the ones who aren't going to act like Shacarri did to Coleman are forced to go into hiding. They are expected by each other to act like this to you and me, and they have to give an account of why they treat us any better anytime they do so. Black love is dead, and it's been dead for a while because Shacarri's predecessors killed it before Shacarri was even a teen, but she is now expected to carry on the same cycle. And believe me, if sisters thought for 1 second that she meant that apology, they'd cancel her for selling out. If black love has been dead for longer than she's been Shacarri Richardson, then don't think she'll be allowed to make an exception to revive a sincere form of it. If you're stuck on sisters, then get you a dark-skinned Thai or Cambodian or a darker Filipina if she likes you, and spoil the hell out of her, but don't for 1 second think you can love a sister into loving you back the right way. Just like it ain't the job of that lady from one of those countries I mentioned to love you back into wholeness and healing after what some sister did to you, it ain't yours to love no sisters back into the good sense to give and take in a marriage either. It ain't your job to take abuse until they decide that they have sufficiently punished you for what some other bedbuck Negro did because she let him. You've heard this voice say it before, but it ain't your job to do nothing but give the Lord his due worship, stay black, and die. If you gotta pay the cost, then you gotta be the boss. So you're the HNIC around here. Until next time, darknesses. Thanks for listening, and Jet and I both hope this helps. Thanks for flying with us here on Jet Black Air, where the phrase jet black is also a verb. Keep jetting black with us until the wings and the wheels fall off. Gender, justice, forever.